Lily had always felt like she was looking at her family through a glass wall. She could see them, but never truly touch them or be part of their world. The memory of that rainy afternoon, 21 years ago, remained sharp in her mind. Sitting in a social worker's office, clutching her small backpack, as she met the Walsh family for the first time. At 7 years old, just 3 months after losing her parents in a head-on collision, Lily became the newest member of a family that never quite opened their circle to include her. The Walshes lived in a beautiful 2-story house with a perfectly trimmed lawn in a neighborhood where people smiled and waved as they walked their dogs. Thomas Walsh was an accountant who loved golf and Sunday football. His wife Vivian taught piano and organized the neighborhood book club. And then there was their daughter Kira, 2 years younger than Lily, with her mother's warm smile and her father's confident stance. The real Walsh child, as Kira herself had pointed out during one of their childhood fights. "They're just keeping you because they feel sorry for you," Kira had said when Lily was 9, after Lily received a smaller birthday present than Kira had. Those words took root somewhere deep inside and never really left. Now at 28, Lily sat at her desk, on the 14th floor of the Henderson Marketing Building, staring at the email that had just arrived. An invitation to Vivian's 60th birthday celebration at the Palm Restaurant, one of those fancy places with white tablecloths and servers who refilled your water glass before it was half empty. Lily ran her finger across the screen, tracing the formal wording of the invitation. "You should come," Kira had texted after sending the email. "Mom expects everyone to be there. Not, Mom wants you there or we'd love to see you. Just an obligation like remembering to pay a bill on time." Lily had built walls of her own over the years, walls made of professional achievements and a calendar so packed with work commitments that she had a legitimate excuse to miss most family gatherings. As the youngest regional manager in the company's history, she oversaw 32 employees and had doubled her department's client base in just 18 months. Her apartment overlooking the city park was filled with modern furniture and impressive art pieces, but very few personal photos. Success had become her shield and her comfort. Taking lunch now, Lily called to her assistant as she grabbed her purse and headed to the elevator. She needed fresh air to think. The food truck parked 2 blocks from her office had become her midday sanctuary, a place where the smell of various cuisines and the chatter of strangers somehow made her feel less alone than quiet restaurants did. As she bit into her fish taco, Lily scrolled through photos on her phone from the last Walsh family gathering she'd attended, Thomas's retirement party 8 months ago. In every picture, she stood slightly apart from the others, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. Vivian had hugged her briefly upon arrival, then spent the evening introducing and reintroducing her biological daughter to important colleagues, while Lily hovered near the dessert table making small talk with Thomas's cousin who couldn't remember if she was a neighbor or a family friend. The invitation sat heavy in her inbox. Part of her wanted to send a polite excuse and an expensive gift. That would be easier, safer. But another part, the stubborn 7-year-old who still believed in happy endings, whispered that maybe this time would be different. Maybe after all these years she could finally crack the invisible code that would make the Walshes truly see her as one of their own. Lily finished her lunch, wiped her hands, and typed a quick response. "I'll be there. Looking forward to celebrating with everyone." She hit send before she could change her mind, wondering if hope was just another word for setting yourself up for disappointment. Lily spent Saturday afternoon preparing for Vivian's birthday dinner. She'd visited 3 different stores before finding the perfect gift, a vintage brooch with tiny pearls arranged like piano keys, a nod to Vivian's love of music. She'd even splurged on professional gift wrapping, the kind with thick cream-colored paper and a real fabric ribbon. Getting ready, she chose a dark blue dress she'd bought months ago but never worn, hoping it struck the right balance between formal and approachable. The Palm Restaurant stood tall and proud on the corner of Main and 4th, its windows glowing with warm light against the evening sky. Lily checked her lipstick one last time in her car mirror before grabbing the gift and walking toward the entrance, her heels clicking against the pavement. Her stomach twisted into knots with each step. "I'm here for the Walsh party," she told the host, who nodded and led her through the maze of tables. From across the room, she spotted them. Vivian in a shimmering silver dress, Thomas in his favorite navy suit, and Kira, laughing at something while gesturing with a glass of champagne. Lily approached with what she hoped was a confident smile. "Happy birthday," she said, holding out the wrapped box to Vivian. Vivian looked up, her smile faltering slightly. "Oh, Lily, you made it." She took the gift without looking at it and placed it on a side table already crowded with presents. "Thanks for coming. No hug, no invitation to sit." Vivian immediately turned back to her cousin Janet, resuming their conversation as if Lily had simply delivered mail. Thomas at least acknowledged her with a small wave from across the table where he sat chatting with his golf buddies. "Hey there, kiddo," he called out, though she was hardly a kid anymore. He didn't get up or invite her over. Lily stood awkwardly for a moment, clutching her small purse, before making her way around the table looking for her seat. The place settings were elegant. Crisp white napkins folded into swans, crystal glasses catching the light from overhead chandeliers, and small name cards written in fancy calligraphy. She checked each card carefully, moving slowly around the large table. When she couldn't find her name, Lily spotted Kira near the bar and walked over. "Hey, I can't seem to find my place card," she said quietly. Kira took a long sip of her champagne before answering. "Oh, weird. Mom told the restaurant 12 people, but I guess they only set up for 11. She shrugged, not quite meeting Lily's eyes. Maybe they messed up the count or something. "But there are actually 12 people here, including me, right?" Lily asked, doing a quick head count. "Well, yeah, but..." Kira trailed off, glancing toward her parents. "It's just that Mom's college roommate showed up unexpectedly, and they were really close, so..." The unfinished sentence hung in the air between them. What Kira wasn't saying was painfully clear. The unexpected guest had taken priority over Lily because she wasn't really family. She was the expendable one. "I see," Lily said, her voice suddenly sounding far away to her own ears. "So there's no place for me." "Don't make a big deal about it," Kira hissed, eyes darting around to make sure no one was watching their conversation. "You can probably squeeze in somewhere, or maybe just grab some food and mingle. It's not like you have to sit down the whole time." A strange calm settled over Lily as the reality of the situation sank in. After 21 years, nothing had changed. She was still the outsider, the afterthought, the one who could be erased without anyone noticing or caring. "I think I'll get a drink first," Lily said, surprised by how steady her voice sounded when her insides felt like they were crumbling. She turned away from her adoptive sister and headed toward the bar at the far end of the restaurant. It was quieter there, dimly lit with soft jazz playing from hidden speakers. Lily slid onto a bar stool, ordered a glass of red wine, and finally allowed the hot sting of tears to well up in her eyes. "Why did I even come?" she whispered to herself, running a finger around the rim of her glass. What was I expecting? Lily sat at the bar nursing her wine, watching the birthday celebration unfold from a distance. The bartender, an older man with kind eyes, silently refilled her glass without being asked. She nodded her thanks, grateful for this small act of consideration that felt more genuine than any interaction she'd had with her adoptive family all evening. A group of servers emerged from the kitchen carrying a large cake with sparklers, and everyone at the Walsh table stood up to sing. Lily remained at the bar, an observer rather than a participant in what should have been a family moment. She checked her watch. 20 minutes more, she decided, and then she could leave without feeling like a complete failure. "Scotch, neat, please," a male voice ordered from beside her. Lily kept her eyes fixed on her wine glass, not in the mood for small talk with a stranger. But then came the words that made her look up. "Oh, wow. Ms. Chen?" "Hi, boss." She turned to find Alex Nguyen standing there, one of the new graphic designers her department had hired just 3 months ago. He was dressed in dark slacks and a light blue button-down shirt that made his eyes look even darker than they appeared at work. "Alex?" Lily blinked in surprise. "What are you doing here?" His eyes widened. "I could ask you the same thing. I'm here with my girlfriend for her mom's birthday." He gestured vaguely toward the Walsh table. then looked back at Lily with growing confusion. Wait, how do you know the Walshes? The pieces clicked into place for Lily. Kira is your girlfriend? Alex nodded slowly. For about 5 months now. He accepted his scotch from the bartender with a quick thanks before turning back to Lily. She never mentioned you worked at Henderson Marketing. She doesn't know where I work, Lily said, the words coming out more bitter than she intended. She took a sip of wine before adding, The Walshes adopted me when I was 7. Kira's my adoptive sister. Alex's mouth fell open slightly. Sister? But she's never... He caught himself, but not before Lily could fill in the blank. Kira had never mentioned having a sister, adopted or otherwise. An awkward silence fell between them. In the background, Vivian was opening presents while the guests watched and applauded. Should you be over there? Lily asked, nodding toward the celebration. Alex shrugged. Probably. But honestly, I'm a bit overwhelmed. This is the first time. I'm meeting most of the family. Kira's been talking about her parents nonstop for weeks, but she's a bit intense about making a good impression. He took a sip of his scotch. Plus, they didn't exactly have a place set for me either. Her uncle's business partner showed up, so I'm the odd man out at the table. Welcome to the club, Lily said with a dry laugh. Guess we're both extras tonight. For the first time since walking into the restaurant, Lily felt some of the tension leave her shoulders. There was something comforting about not being the only one left out, even if their reasons were different. You know, you're not at all what I expected as a boss, Alex said, leaning against the bar. At work, you're always so put together, professional. And tonight I'm just pathetic sitting alone at a bar during a family party. No, Alex said quickly. That's not what I meant. You just seem more real right now. Human. Lily gave him a small smile. Well, now you know my secret. I'm actually a disaster in my personal life. Aren't we all? Alex replied, raising his glass in a mock toast. For what it's worth, the entire design team thinks you're amazing. We were all terrified of you at first because you have this reputation for excellence, but now everyone fights over who gets assigned to your projects. Really? Lily felt a flush of pride cut through her sadness. Really? Jackson calls you the wizard because you somehow make impossible clients happy. Priya says you're the only manager who actually understands what designers need to do their best work. Lily felt a warmth spread through her chest that had nothing to do with the wine. At work, at least, she belonged. Their conversation was interrupted. When Kira appeared suddenly behind Alex, her face tense. There you are, she said, placing a possessive hand on his shoulder. Mom's asking where you went. Her eyes flicked to Lily, narrowing slightly. What are you two talking about? We were just catching up about work stuff, Alex said smoothly, turning to Kira with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Your sister has been a great boss. You never told me she was the regional manager everyone keeps talking about. Kira's face tightened. I didn't think it was important. She tugged at Alex's arm. Come on, Mom's opening your gift next. Alex glanced back at Lily with an apologetic look before allowing himself to be pulled away. Lily watched them go, noticing how Kira positioned herself between Alex and the rest of the party as they walked, whispering something in his ear that made his shoulders stiffen. Lily finished her wine and grabbed her purse. She'd had enough humiliation for one night. As she paid her tab and stood to leave, her phone buzzed with a text message. Unknown number. Can we talk tomorrow? Coffee at Riverside Cafe, 10 a.m. This is Alex from work. Sorry about tonight. Lily stared at the message for a long moment. Part of her wanted to ignore it, to leave this whole mess behind and return to the safety of her work life where things made sense. But another part, the part that still searched for answers about why her adoptive family had never truly accepted her, made her thumbs move across the screen. Lily. Sure. See you then. She slipped out of the restaurant without saying goodbye to anyone. Nobody noticed her leave. The next morning, Lily arrived at Riverside Cafe 15 minutes early, choosing a table by the window where she could watch the Sunday joggers and dog walkers along the path. She wore jeans and a casual sweater, her work persona packed away with her business suits. Alex arrived right on time, looking tired. "Thanks for coming," he said, sliding into the chair across from her. "I got you a latte. I noticed that's what you always ordered during department meetings." "Thanks," Lily said, surprised he'd paid attention to such a small detail. After ordering his own black coffee, Alex took a deep breath. "I need to tell you something, and it's not going to be easy to hear." Lily's hands tightened around her mug. "Just say it." "Last night wasn't an accident," Alex said, his voice low and serious. "The missing place card, I mean. Kira told me before we arrived that they deliberately didn't include you in the seating arrangement. She told her parents she wasn't sure you'd come because you're always so busy with work." The coffee in Lily's stomach turned acidic. "But I RSVP'd yes. I told her I was coming." Alex nodded. "I know. She knew too, but—" He hesitated. "But what?" Lily pushed. "But she told them you probably wouldn't stay long anyway because you never really want to be part of family gatherings, that you only show up out of obligation." The unfairness of it struck Lily like a physical blow. How many times had she tried to fit in only to be subtly pushed away? How many family events had she attended where she'd been treated as an afterthought? "There's more," Alex said, looking genuinely pained. "When Kira introduced me to her parents, she specifically told me not to mention that you were my boss. She said it would be awkward and might make things weird if her parents knew we worked together." "Why would that be awkward?" Lily asked, though a part of her already knew. Alex looked down at his coffee. "Because according to what Kira's told me over these past months, they've never really—" He struggled to find the right words. "They've never really considered you a real part of the family." Those were her words, not mine, he added quickly. Lily sat very still, letting the pain wash over her. It wasn't a surprise, not really. Just a confirmation of what she'd felt for years. "Why? Are you telling me this?" she finally asked. "You could have just let it go." Alex met her eyes. "Because it's wrong, and because I respect you too much to be part of it. You're not just my boss. You're the person who took a chance on my portfolio when other companies said I lacked experience. You're the one who defended my design concept for the Harrington account when the client wanted something safe and boring. You've earned my loyalty professionally." He paused, then added more quietly, "And no one deserves to be treated the way they treated you last night, especially not by family." Lily felt tears prick at her eyes, but refused to let them fall. "I appreciate your honesty. I broke up with Kira last night," Alex said. "After we left the restaurant, I couldn't stay with someone who could be that cruel to her own sister and think it was normal." 3 days passed before Lily could bring herself to do what needed to be done. She spent Monday and Tuesday throwing herself into work, staying late at the office and taking on extra projects to keep her mind busy. But by Wednesday morning, she knew she couldn't put it off any longer. She texted Thomas, Vivian, and Kira asking to meet for lunch. "Need to talk to all of you. Important. Blue Garden Restaurant at 1 p.m. tomorrow." Short and to the point. No explanation. No emotion. Surprisingly, they all agreed. Lily arrived at the restaurant 20 minutes early, choosing a quiet table in the corner where they wouldn't be easily overheard. She ordered water and sat with her hands folded on the tablecloth, rehearsing what she wanted to say. The words had been forming in her mind for days, maybe for years. Thomas and Vivian arrived first, looking concerned. Thomas immediately asked, "Is everything okay? Are you in some kind of trouble?" "Let's wait for Kira," Lily said quietly. "I only want to say this once." Kira arrived 10 minutes late, sliding into her chair without making eye contact. "This better be important. I had to reschedule a client meeting." "It is," Lily said, taking a deep breath. "I want to talk about Saturday night and really about the past 21 years. "Oh, honey, if this is about the seating mix-up, that was just a misunderstanding," Vivian said quickly, reaching for her water glass. "The restaurant got confused with the numbers." "No, they didn't," Lily said, keeping her voice calm despite the anger bubbling beneath the surface. "Kira told Alex that you deliberately didn't include me in the seating arrangements because you didn't think I'd stay long anyway." Vivian's face paled. Thomas looked down at the table. "Alex had no right to tell you that." Kira snapped. He doesn't understand our family dynamics. And what exactly are our family dynamics, Kira? Lily asked, leaning forward slightly. Please explain them to me, because after 2 decades, I still don't understand why I've never been treated like a real member of this family. A heavy silence fell over the table. A waiter approached to take their orders, but Lily waved him away with a polite, "We need a few more minutes." "That's not fair," Thomas finally said, his voice gruff with emotion. "We gave you a home when you had nowhere else to go. We paid for your education, your clothes, your— Is that how you see it?" Lily interrupted. "That you did me a favor by adopting me? That I should be eternally grateful just to be allowed in your house? Well, what do you want from us?" Kira demanded. "You've always been distant. Always had one foot out the door, focused on your precious career instead of family gatherings. Because every time I showed up, I was treated like an outsider," Lily said, her voice finally breaking. "Do you know what it's like to watch your parents introduce your sister to everyone while you stand alone by the food table? To never have your accomplishments mentioned while Kira's smallest achievements are celebrated like national holidays?" Thomas started to protest, but Lily held up her hand. "I'm not blaming you for having a stronger bond with your biological daughter. That's natural. But you chose to adopt me. You chose to bring a grieving 7-year-old into your home, and then you kept her at arm's length for 21 years. Vivian's eyes filled with tears. "We didn't mean to make you feel that way. Maybe not consciously," Lily acknowledged, "but actions speak louder than words, and your actions have always made it clear where I stand." Kira crossed her arms defensively. "So what now? You called us here just to complain about how terrible we've been to you?" "No," Lily said firmly. "I called you here to tell you that I need some time away from all of you. I've spent my whole life trying to earn a place in this family, trying to be good enough to be considered a real Walsh. I'm done trying." "You're cutting us off?" Thomas asked, his face flushing red. "I'm taking a step back to figure out what kind of relationship I want with you going forward," Lily clarified. "I need space to heal from years of feeling unwanted and unworthy." "That's not fair," Vivian whispered, tears now falling freely. "What's not fair is how you've treated me," Lily said, standing up and gathering her purse. She wasn't angry anymore, just tired and sad. "I deserve better, and until you can honestly look at how you've treated me and take responsibility for it, I need to protect myself." She left money on the table for her untouched water and walked out of the restaurant with her head held high, feeling lighter than she had in years. The next 2 weeks were a blur of activity for Lily. She threw herself into work with renewed focus, starting each day before sunrise and often staying until the janitorial staff came through with their vacuum cleaners at night. She ignored 3 calls from Vivian and declined a lunch invitation from Thomas. The only family message she responded to was a lengthy text from Kira that oscillated between angry accusations and half-hearted apologies. Lily simply wrote back, "I need time. Please respect that." At work, Lily found unexpected peace. The marketing department hummed with creative energy as they prepared for their biggest pitch of the year, the Westfield account, a luxury hotel chain that could double their client portfolio if they landed it. "The presentation meeting is in 2 weeks," Lily announced during Monday's team meeting. "We need fresh design concepts that capture luxury without being stuffy. Their current branding is outdated, but they're nervous about going too modern." Alex spoke up from the back of the conference room. "I have some ideas based on their existing logo elements but reimagined with cleaner lines." He kept his tone professional, giving no hint of their personal connection or the drama from the birthday party. Lily nodded. "Good. Put together some mock-ups and we'll review them tomorrow." She continued assigning tasks to her team members, already mentally mapping out the timeline for completion. After the meeting, Alex lingered behind. "How are you doing?" he asked quietly when everyone else had filed out. "Focusing on work helps," Lily admitted. "Thanks for being normal about everything. I was worried things might be awkward." "Nothing to be awkward about," Alex shrugged. "At work, you're my boss and I respect that. What happened with Kira is separate. An unexpected warmth spread through Lily's chest. In all the years she'd worked at Henderson Marketing, she'd maintained careful boundaries between her personal and professional lives. Having someone know both sides of her story felt strangely freeing. Over the following days, Lily and Alex fell into a comfortable working rhythm. His design concepts for the Westfield pitch were innovative, yet practical, and he took her feedback without defensiveness. They often found themselves working late, ordering takeout and spreading materials across the conference table as they refined the presentation. "This layout isn't working," Lily said one evening, frowning at the mock-up on her laptop screen. "The photos need more breathing room." Alex leaned over her shoulder to look, his coffee cup in hand. "What if we move this section to the next slide and expand the images?" "That could work," she nodded, making the changes quickly. "Much better." "We make a good team," Alex observed, returning to his seat across from her. "You see the strategy." "I see the design," Lily smiled. "It's nice having someone who gets both sides." As the pitch date approached, the energy in the office intensified. Late nights became the norm, with Lily's team working tirelessly to perfect every aspect of the presentation. Through it all, Alex proved himself invaluable, not just for his design skills, but for his ability to mediate conflicts between team members and find creative solutions to last-minute problems. The day before the pitch, disaster struck. Their lead account manager called in sick with a stomach virus that had him hospitalized. Panic rippled through the team. "Who's going to present the market analysis?" Jackson, one of the junior designers, asked during the emergency meeting Lily called. "Brian prepared all those slides." "I'll do it," Lily said firmly. "I'm familiar enough with the research." "That's a lot of material to absorb in one day," Alex pointed out. "What if we split it? I can handle the target demographic section since I worked closely with Brian on visualizing that data." Lily considered this for a moment. "Can you be ready by tomorrow morning?" "Absolutely." Alex nodded confidently. They worked until midnight, rehearsing their parts and fine-tuning transitions between speakers. By the time Lily finally headed home for a few hours of sleep, she felt cautiously optimistic. Next morning, dressed in her most confidence-boosting suit, Lily led her team into the Westfield corporate headquarters. The presentation room was intimidating, all glass and chrome with stern-faced executives lining one side of a massive table. As they set up their materials, Alex leaned close and whispered, "We've got this, boss." And somehow those simple words made Lily believe it was true. 6 months flew by in a whirlwind of change for Lily. The Westfield pitch had been a stunning success, bringing not just the hotel chain's business, but industry recognition. Henderson Marketing had featured her team's work in their company newsletter, and last week she'd received the news she'd been waiting for: a promotion to executive director with a corner office and a substantial raise. Tonight, Lily stood in her apartment surveying the space she had transformed for her celebration. Dinner, string lights twinkled from the ceiling, casting a warm glow over her dining table, which she had extended with a rented table to accommodate all 10 guests. The aroma of catered food filled the air. She had splurged on an upscale restaurant's special events menu because tonight felt important, worth marking properly. "Need help with anything?" Priya asked, emerging from the kitchen with a tray of filled wine glasses. As the senior graphic designer on Lily's team, Priya had become not just a colleague but a trusted friend over the past months. "I think we're all set." Lily smiled, taking a glass. "Thanks for coming early to help." "Are you kidding? I wouldn't miss a minute of this celebration." "You earned it, boss lady." Priya grinned, clinking her glass against Lily's. The doorbell rang, and soon Lily's apartment filled with the people who had become important in her life. Jackson from the design team arrived with his husband, both bearing flowers. Alex came with 2 bottles of champagne. Her neighbor Diane, who had checked on Lily's plants during countless business trips, brought a homemade cake. Old college friends, Paula and Trey, drove in from out of town. Even her first boss, Richard, now retired, made an appearance with a gift-wrapped leather portfolio. As they gathered around the table, sharing stories and laughter, Lily felt a sense of belonging wash over her. These people had chosen to be here, chosen to celebrate with her. There were no obligation invitations, no polite distance, no feeling like an afterthought. During dessert, Lily's phone buzzed with a text message. She normally wouldn't check during dinner, but something made her glance down. It was from Vivian. Heard about your promotion from Barbara at my book club. She's Richard's wife and mentioned the celebration tonight. I know it's been months since we've spoken, but I'm proud of you. Would love to meet for coffee sometime, on your terms. No pressure. Lily stared at the message, surprised by the conflicting emotions it stirred. 6 months ago, such a text would have sent her spiraling, desperate for approval. Now she felt calm. She could meet with Vivian if she wanted to, or not. The choice was hers, and her worth didn't depend on their relationship anymore. Everything okay? Alex asked quietly, noticing her expression. Yeah, Lily nodded, putting her phone away. Just my adoptive mom. She wants to meet. And how do you feel about that? Lily considered the question. Like I don't need to decide right now. Tonight is about this. She gestured to the table of friends. The family I've chosen. Alex raised his glass. To chosen family, he said loud enough for everyone to hear. To chosen family, the group echoed, lifting their glasses. Later, as her guests helped clean up despite her protests, Lily found herself in the kitchen with Richard, who was carefully wrapping leftover cake. I've watched you grow from a nervous college graduate into an industry powerhouse, the older man said with fatherly pride. But what impresses me most is seeing you surrounded by people who genuinely care about you. That's harder to build than a career. I didn't realize I was building it, Lily admitted. It just happened while I was busy working. The best things often do, Richard smiled. You know, family isn't always blood or adoption papers. Sometimes it's just the people who show up, who see your value, and who stay even when things get messy. Lily looked out at her living room where Priya was laughing at something Jackson's husband had said, while Alex and Diane debated the best way to take down the string lights. This mismatched group of colleagues, neighbors, and friends had become her support system, her cheerleaders, her confidants. I think I'm starting to understand that, she said softly. When the last guest had gone and Lily was alone again, she picked up her phone and looked at Vivian's message. With steady fingers, she typed a reply. Coffee next Saturday would work. Greenleaf Cafe at 10 a.m. Thank you for reaching out. She hit send, no longer seeking approval or belonging, but open to the possibility of building something new on her own terms.